XRP has proved this year to be the most stable altcoin. Now, out of all the altcoins, it went down the least after its huge move that it had from November last year. I think it was almost 800%. Now, it did take a 50% hit, but out of altcoins, that literally was the lowest. Now, Bitcoin, of course, goes down less than XRP, and it's a far superior crypto. In fact, I don't think you can compare any crypto to Bitcoin. It's in a league of its own. However, I care about the chart, and even though Bitcoin is superior, for those altcoin followers, this is the most stable altcoin. So we can obviously see that with how little it went down, but it needs very little to progress from here. It only needs another 18% to make a new all-time high. Off of the lows, it only needed a 110% move to a new all-time high. But you could not say the same for 99% of the cryptos in the market. In fact, some cryptos need 1000% just to get back to where they were. It's ridiculous. So if you did want to take risk apart from Bitcoin, please understand, in my opinion, if we're looking into what XRP is, there is no Genesis block that you can go back to, so you can't fully audit it. And with that, it's lost my trust, so I don't care about it. But even though altcoins in general are scams, in my opinion, I think that the quote unquote safest one, even though it's not, as you saw in the disclaimer at the beginning of this video, XRP would be the best bet. It would go down the least. It would sustain its gains in terms of altcoins in comparison to other altcoins. So if you did want to take risk apart from Bitcoin, it's proved to be the best altcoin out there. Not necessarily in terms of the gains it returns over the last 7-8 years. It's been absolutely terrible. But I think definitely from what is shown through the end of last year and the stability it's had this year, that it's going to progress higher. And so all the holders are just going to keep experiencing exponential gains on their XRP holdings. So for those not involved at all at the moment, it could still reach as high as $7 potentially, as long as everything goes to plan, which in crypto nothing ever does. But those are Fibonacci targets. In order to get up to just sub $10, it just needs to create higher lows consistently above this level, $3.11. That's why for many months on the channel here, we've been discussing this $3.11 acting as a trigger for the first targeted area. So immediately after breaking $3.11, you'll see $4 to $5 pretty soon. But that is also an area most of the time where we see a correction begin. Now, I don't think it's going to last 6 months, but it could last a while. And then as long as it doesn't head back down and lose this area, it stabilizes above this area of $3, then it will continue minimum to $7. So there's still juice left to be squeezed out of this, even for newcomers, or just trade it with leverage if you've missed out, run to the gains. But I was saying through those months that this is the most stable altcoin. I think that it's going to be just maybe not as explosive, but it will be explosive in the following part of this cycle. Maybe it reaches as high as, and this is being kind, to $10, but I'd be aiming towards 5 to 7. Even at the 5 point, a correction should happen from in and around this zone. So not expecting such a quick movement between 5 and 7. It might come all the way back down into the 3s before getting back up there. It can be brutal, right? We just experienced a 50% correction. It can do that in less than 6 months and be done with it. It could do that in a month. It could do that in a few weeks and get out of that situation just like that. This was just a long drawn out process. They're ready. They're done accumulating their Bitcoin, and then that gives the green light. It made a new all-time high. Slowly that money trickles down. You started to see coins like XRP and breaking out, forming this inverse head and shoulders pattern here. And let me remind you that literally down here at this level, I'm saying the bulls need to step in, whether it's from this final level or this one here. It needs to recover $2.07 and then pump into $2.60. And on the break of that, it's going to shoot up into it. Move for move, I've called it. My strategy has pretty much enabled me to call all these moves. And it's also saying that it should reach $4 to $5 minimum this cycle. but I think that it will correct from somewhere around there. It needs to hold above this area, and it should continue to $7 after that point, maybe as high as 10. Now, if you want to learn this strategy, check out the ebook if you don't have as much time. But I also do video calls where I can share my screen, you can share your screen, to pretty much confirm that you are doing it correct, and I'll teach you my strategy over there just like that. I do have a Discord community as well. I have traders in there sharing their thoughts and ideas. Check it out if you want to be part of that and hear more of my own personal thoughts on the market.